lover, obsessed. These are the words I use to describe my relationship with coffee. As you can see by all of these different types of coffee brewing equipment, I am hopelessly addicted to brewing my own coffee. But I've always wondered, how does my coffee compare to all the popular coffee shops in my area? So today, we're gonna find out. We are going to go on a trip and pick up coffees from 5 of the most popular coffee shops in my area, and I'm gonna bring them home and blind taste test them against my own coffee to see if my coffee is better and see which of the best coffee shops are available and the price points of their coffee. But without further ado, let's go get our coffee. And be sure to stick around to the end of the video because we've got a crazy surprise for you waiting. Yes, please. Say thank you. Thanks.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
You too. Okay, so we have 4 different coffees. I'm gonna make my own so I can compare it. But what we're going to do is have Emily behind the camera put these into glasses so I have no idea which one is which. And then I'm gonna blind taste test them and see which is my favorite and if any of these will beat my own personal brew. Okay, so we have the 5 coffees randomized and controlled for temperature. Emily put them in these containers and microwaved them to bring them all up to the same exact temperature, and I have no idea which one is which. But let me give you a rundown of the 5 coffees that we have. We have a coffee that I have brewed. We have a coffee from Onyx, which is a local coffee shop here in Northwest Arkansas, but they make very good coffee. We have a coffee from 7 Brew, which is another local chain that has more of a fast food drive-through kind of coffee setup. We have a McDonald's coffee, and then we have Starbucks. Let me first just go through my predictions as to which coffee I'm gonna like the best and the least. Me being a coffee snob and making my own coffee every day, I have to go with my coffee being my favorite one out of this lineup. Have to go with me. Number 2, I think I'll like Onyx because they are a really refined local coffee shop here, and I think I'll like them second. Then I'm gonna go with 7 Brew, followed by Starbucks, and last, the McDonald's coffee is taking the last place. But without further ado, let me get into these taste tests and see which of these coffees I like the most and the least. Okay, starting from my left-hand side, let's go with coffee number 1. I'm just going to take a sip out of the glass here. One thing I'll note, there's a little bit of cloudiness to this coffee. I'd say it's kind of like a medium-ish roast of a coffee. It's not too bad. It's pretty smooth, it's not too harsh. This is a pretty solid coffee. I'm honestly not sure which one it would be. For now, this first coffee I'm gonna say is one of the middle of the road coffees. I'm gonna guess it would be either the Starbucks or the 7 Brew, or my own brew, but I'll kind of come back to that after I've tasted a couple more. So this coffee number 2 I'm trying is much more clear. It's definitely a little bit darker. Can't really get much on the nose. This coffee is definitely smoother, but it feels a little more watered down than the first. But it's nice, it's bright. It's tough. Oh gosh. Now I'm getting nervous because I couldn't really tell which the first 2 were. Hold on. All right, let's try number 3. Number 3 is for sure the darkest of the coffees. It does look clear. There's a little bit of oil on the top, which I feel like should be a good thing, but let's see. Oh, it certainly smells the darkest. Ooh, number 3 is dark and heavy, and it tastes a little bit burnt. Ooh, number 3 is easily the worst so far.
Really?
I think so. The middle coffee, easily the worst. Oh God, I hope that's not mine. I'm gonna have to say number 3, I feel fairly confidently about that being McDonald's. Or Surprisingly, that could be a 7 brew. 7 brews could be bad too. I don't know. I'm gonna say number 3 is McDonald's. I don't like that at all. God, I hope it's not mine, actually. Number 3 is bad. Over roasted, over extracted, bitter. Hold on, I need some water. I need to cleanse the palate some. Let's go on to number 4. This one, decently, a little bit brighter of a color. It's definitely a lighter roast, it feels like. It's brighter, but it's not super strong. I feel like I would like it to have a little bit more flavor to it, but I don't have a good sense of which of those coffees that would be. Let me go with number 5 now. Oh, this one smells the best by far. This one smells bright and flowery. On the nose, these other 4 smelled like coffee, except for number 3 that smelled burnt. Number 5, this one smells floral. This one smells bright and inviting. This one smells amazing. This one tastes really good as well. That floral note on the nose also is coming out through the coffee as well. I can taste it, almost tastes flowery, bright, summery. There's some sweetness to it. This is easily the best coffee. So I think we have the worst. I think we have the best. I originally would have hoped that my coffee would be the best. I think this is gonna be Onyx. I'm gonna go with this last number 5, the best one, being the Onyx coffee, because that shit smells and tastes super, super good. Number 5, Onyx, locking it in, and I'm saying number 5 will be my favorite coffee. And I have the strong worst, which I'm gonna say is the McDonald's coffee, which is by far the worst. And then the strong best, which I'm gonna say is the Onyx coffee. And so now, I think what I have is my coffee, 7 brew, and Starbucks kind of in the middle. So I'm gonna see if I can differentiate and try to figure out which of these is better and which is mine, etc. Yeah, definitely just not as strong, not as floral as the Onyx coffee, but it's still good. It's mild, it's inviting. This one's a little bit stronger in flavor, but it still is mild. I definitely think this is going to beat out this one. And I'm leaning towards maybe this one being mine. This one is really good as well. So let me try this. There's definitely more flavor in these two than this one. This one's not bad. It's just a little bit mild in flavor. I'm gonna say this one goes definitely well above this coffee. And then we got these two. So for the runner-up decision, I'm gonna say this one is gonna be the runner-up. These are both pretty good. They're both flavorful. This one just has a little bit more of a bright flavor. I think some of the flavors are coming through a little bit brighter, a touch sweeter than this. And I'm gonna put this as a second place. So here we go. I think here is the current rankings of the coffee. We have this one up in front by a very wide margin. This is a very good cup of coffee, and it definitely stands out from the 5. And I'm gonna say that's the Onyx coffee. Here we have runner-up, which is also very good. I'm gonna say this is my coffee that I poured, number 2. Number 3 is also good. The difference between 2 and 3 were minimal, but I think number 2 is gonna be stronger and brighter than number 3. I'm gonna say number 3 is actually the 7 brew coffee. No, I retract that. I'm gonna say number 3 is actually the Starbucks coffee. Number 4, a decent cup, drinkable. I think it's watered down. Because of this kind of watered down nature, it doesn't taste bad, but it's not preferred. I'm gonna say this is 7 brew. And then 5 is bad. 5 is easily far and away the worst, and it is just dark, burnt, gross, bad. I'm gonna say that's the worst, and I'm gonna say that's the McDonald's coffee. So here we go, locking it in. I have first place Onyx, second place mine, third place Starbucks, fourth place 7 brew, fifth place McDonald's. Let's see how close my predictions were and see which of these coffees were actually the best and the worst. First of all, who's the worst, Emily? which cup of coffee is the worst? 3.
And that's Starbucks.
Starbucks. Oh, RIP Starbucks. Man, I can't believe Starbucks was that bad. This was by far and away the worst coffee by a large margin. So Starbucks having the worst in the blind taste test, that's a tough look for them, man. They got to do better than that, because that truly is a shit cup of coffee. So, all right, Starbucks, McDonald's beats Starbucks, everyone else beats Starbucks. Okay, let's go to the swing to the other end. The best cup of coffee, also by a wide margin. Who brewed this one?
You know, it's obviously Onyx.
Obviously Onyx. So this is the Onyx coffee. Props to Onyx. Anecdotally, they're a local coffee shop with a strong network of beans. They ship out their Onyx coffee beans. They are renowned around the world at this point, but started here in Northwest Arkansas. This coffee is truly an amazing cup of coffee. I'm surprised that just on the smell alone, this has so much more fragrance. This has so much more fragrance. It's so tasty. It's so smooth. This is truly an amazing cup of coffee, and it beats the others by a significant margin. All right, number 2. My prediction was this was my cup of coffee.
Let me see one more time.
Who is it? This is
4. That's you.
Number 4 is me. My cup of coffee coming in second place. Man, I kind of was wishing my cup would be the first, but honestly, I couldn't beat the Onyx cup. Another really good cup of coffee. It had some of those bright notes. You could smell it. It was nice and clear. It was bright. Just not quite as refined and floral as the Onyx cup of coffee, but happy to say my cup of coffee coming in second place. By the way, for my cups of coffee, I use a subscription service called Trade Coffee, where they send me beans every 2 to 3 weeks. Number 3.
It's number 2.
Number 2.
That's McDonald's.
This is McDonald's coffee.
Yeah, and you're right between yourself and McDonald's there.
Wow. And so, yeah, I actually said that it was a fairly close race between the second place coffee and the third place coffee, which was my coffee and McDonald's. So props to McDonald's. Their black coffee, honestly, was a pretty solid cup of coffee. For $1, it was by far the cheapest cup of coffee on the list. So props to McDonald's. They've got some decent coffee and at a really great price, which means that the fourth place coffee is going to be 7 Brew. But there you have it, folks. That is a blind taste test of my coffee versus some of the coffees here in my area.
So this is the final boss battle.
The final boss of coffee. We went ahead and combined every single one of these coffees into one final boss just to see what it's like to combine them all. Cheers. Honestly, it's not that bad. I can taste a little bit of the Starbucks coffee bringing down some harsh notes there, but for mixing all of them together, it really isn't too bad. But I will say, the mixed coffee beats the Starbucks, but it would have to go below all the rest. If you get anything out of this video, Starbucks is bad coffee. Perhaps a local specialty coffee brewer does in fact make really excellent coffee, but then your own coffee you can make at home is probably going to be decent if you get some practice and at a good price. And then McDonald's, if you're in a pinch, is going to be really quick, really cost effective, and their coffee isn't too bad either. But that's going to do it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed this video because I loved getting the chance to make it. If you did like it, feel free to give a thumbs up and consider subscribing, as it helps me a lot with my journey of becoming a video and content creator. If you have any comments or want to see any other types of videos, feel free to leave that in a comment below. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna have to go work out and get rid of some of these coffee sweats. And as always, thank you for keeping it real with Ryan.